the other quarter for the semester went to a study hall.
Oh
And we
my
are
gosh, I
back.
didn't know that. Yay!
I really got to have a conversation with Spectrum about this because I cannot keep doing that. And
Yeah,
this
here
is getting
Spectrum
really, really bad.
sucks.
Everything between here and the wall is brand new.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that something on the other side of the wall going back is messing up and it blinks out for a half a second at a time, and it's enough to throw the stream off.
Jeez.
All
What a
right.
pisser.
Anyway, we were talking about what happens when everything opens back up. So, one of the things I did have a picture I wanted to bring up here is that New York for New York District 14 Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did have something to say about the fact that our economy seems to be going down. Let's have a look at that. On
Oh boy.
Twitter on Tuesday, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweeted out this photo when late stage capitalism takes a selfie, and it was a screenshot from, I believe it was CNN, saying, breaking news, more than 16 million Americans have lost jobs in 3 weeks. Now, I don't understand why this is capitalism and late stage capitalism because, of course, this was the government coming in and telling everybody else not to go to work. What's your take on that?
Oh my god. Like, do you not wonder why people are 16 million people are out of work? Maybe it's because we were told we weren't allowed to operate.
Yeah,
I'm sure
essentially.
she'll somehow blame Whitey too.
Oh, she already has. She's been really, really hard and harping on that as well. That this is disproportionately affecting black neighborhoods, and redlining is what caused all of this.
Redlining? Oh
She's
gosh.
she's got a hard on for redlining, a major
I
one.
know. Yeah, that should have been gotten. Wasn't that abolished or gotten rid of a long ass time ago?
I don't think it was ever actually a thing. It was. I mean, obviously things happened back in the 60s and 70s, but for the most part, it just became socially unacceptable to do so. I mean, there was never a law that said that you had to redline these people into these places, but
Mm-hmm.
social pressure in the 60s.
Yeah. Well, it was also it was I think it was brought up in Roosevelt's administration.
Right.
Everyone's favorite Democrat. Yeah. Anyway,
Even more than Wilson, the father of
I
the
don't
modern
know.
progressive party.
Yeah, I don't know. Woodrow Wilson was a fool in his own right. He was also on his deathbed for one of his terms, and his wife was kind of running the show for a while. But nobody talks about that.
All right. So that is that. Nobody does talk about that. You know what else nobody talks about? The draconian shelter in place restrictions that we have going on there, and you live under one of the hardest ones.
Yes, and it's not. It's getting steadily more tight in the past couple of weeks because before I could still go into the grocery store, people were staying away from each other. They had the little walls up whenever I went to the cash register at the grocery store. And then later on, they only started letting a few people in at a time. So I had to stand in line before I could even get in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then this past weekend, it took even longer. I had to go to two different stores to pick up ingredients for my Easter dinner. And it took 2.5 hours to go to these two stores. And I knew exactly what I needed and I knew exactly where it was in the store. But I had to wait outside, had to maneuver around everybody because you're not supposed to get close to people. And I don't really know how that curbs the spread, to be honest. I think I get the idea as you're having people go out less and not to as many places. But
Mm-hmm.
if everybody's going to the same place,
Yeah.
like to get their groceries and such, even if you're wearing a mask and gloves, which I'm still not sure if the mask helps or not. I don't think it does.
Well, the
But
mask
if
doesn't.
everybody's touching, breathing the same air,
Mm-hmm. Well, the mask, from what they said at the beginning, doesn't keep you from getting it personally because it can enter in through your eyes. What it's supposed to do is because there was so much asymptomatic variant of all of this, it was supposed to keep
mm-hmm.
you from spreading it to other people.
Mm-hmm. Or wasn't it also it kept you from wanting to touch your mouth and then touching something else,
That could be.
like a mucous membrane? Like that, I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
That I can understand. But how much does that really curb it? Because again, if it's just one or two people that come in, that have touched their eyes previously or their mouth previously, and they touch something in the store, somebody else touches it, somebody uses their card on the machine, somebody else pushes the buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's going to happen, and that person goes home and brings it home to their family unwittingly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how it really helps. I think this is a big overreach.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I've been told I'm part of the problem. I've been told I'm part of the problem, that I'm really selfish for wanting to go out. Like, I think it's really selfish. You want me to, like, stay indoors against my will. I'm not telling you to go outside and possibly get it. Stay home if you're at risk.
Well, it's been one of the things too. I've talked about it with many other people. We can open this up and we talked about it just a bit ago. We can open this up and let people go out and do their thing if they want to put themselves at risk. I mean, people are begging for these jobs that some people don't want to do because they don't want to put themselves at risk for this. Meanwhile, I'll
Mm-hmm.
go out and take all these jobs and get all the hours that I want.
Well, on that note, some people say nobody should have to lose their job because they're in fear of their health. But I'm also saying, like, that's every job in the world ever.
Mm-hmm.
No, most jobs, not most jobs, but there are some jobs out there where you're risking your health regardless, and that they'll fire you if you don't do it. And you don't need a pandemic for that. Like, my old delivery job didn't care if I was put in danger or not. Like, they put me out to deliver when there was a tornado warning in the next county. They didn't care, and I couldn't say, if I couldn't say, like, oh no, it's at the danger and risk to my family if I go out. Like, well, you're going or you're fired. That's just the way of it.
Well, it was the same when I was in mechanic school. They said if you call into work because of the weather for whatever reason, the next day you go to work, bring a truck because you're going to be hauling your toolbox out of there.
Jeez. Yeah, see? That's not cool.
So, Osceola County, Florida, do you have fines or any sort of penalty if you go out without a mask right now? No? Can you not hear me? Did we lose audio with Harvey?
I can hear you, but you called me something else.
No, I didn't.
Osteo or something.
No, I was talking about Osceola County, Florida, and then I realized
Oh,
I wanted to
gosh.
ask you a question first.
Oh, my gosh. Sorry. No, there's no fines right now. I think it might happen. It might come to pass that way.
Well, in
I
Osceola
do.
County, Florida, it already has happened. You can now be fined up to $500 in one of the Orlando counties if you are caught outside without a mask on.
Oh my gosh, I think that's ridiculous because aren't masks hard to come by? So now you can't leave your own home and you might not be able to get your hands on a mask and they're going to fine you for it?
Well, you can make your own.
Okay, what if you don't have the materials to make your own? Like, what if those are all sold out?
I don't know. I know that my cousin was talking about making actually. She was doing a little thing where she's making masks and getting them out to people. But yeah, I mean, we've gone from the fact that you can only use an N95 mask to, hey, just throw some elastic straps around a piece of your sweatshirt and you'll be all good.
Yeah, I've seen people with bandanas and stuff.
Yeah.
But does that really help? I don't know. See, we're getting back to that old topic. But I do see a lot of people outside without a mask. I see families out riding their bikes with their kids and walking their dogs. It's not as much as you usually see, but there's plenty of people out playing outside in the field, throwing frisbees in the park. I see it all over the place. And it's not that I don't think they're taking it seriously. I think they're just willing to take the risk at this point.
All right. I got a couple stories here that I want to talk about on draconian measures. I'm actually because we're using Zoom and it doesn't eat up so much of my CPU, I can actually read some of these articles on the air. So this is from ABC News. Former police officer arrested in park for throwing ball with daughter due to coronavirus social distancing rules. An
Yeah.
incident caught on video, a former Colorado State Patrol trooper said he was handcuffed in front of his 6-year-old daughter in a near-empty softball field by Brighton police officers enforcing social distancing rules. The department apologized Tuesday afternoon, calling the incident an overreach by police officers.
I think so.
Matt Mooney, 33, told ABC News he walked with his wife and daughter from their home to a nearby park Sunday to play softball. We're just having a good time, not near anyone else. The next closest person was at least 15 feet away from me and my daughter at this point, Mooney told ABC News. Police arrived soon after, Mooney said, telling him and others in the area to leave because the park was closed. Mooney said he told officers he was familiar with the posted rules and believed he and his family were in compliance and practicing proper social distancing. He said he refused to provide his identification when officers asked for it because he had not broken any law. That good old Fourth Amendment.
Here's what I think is funny, is that you can now get arrested for something like that because of the potential risk of giving somebody the COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But in California, it's only a misdemeanor if you knowingly give somebody AIDS.
Yeah, that
Did
is
you know
funny.
that?
Yeah, no, I knew that.
Like, you can't really get arrested. You just get fined for it. And it's not even a lot. So you can knowingly give somebody AIDS, but the possibility that you could give somebody COVID by being outside, no, that's arrestable.
Further news here. This is from New York Post. Florida ER doctor loses custody of daughter due to coronavirus.
I heard of that.
A heroic Florida doctor fighting on the front lines of the coronavirus epidemic has lost custody of her 4-year-old daughter until the pandemic is over. Dr. Teresa Green, who has tested negative for COVID-19, says she faces the impossible and cruel choice between working in the emergency room and seeing her child, according to 6 South Florida. Green's ex-husband filed for sole custody of the little girl due to the mother's significantly heightened exposure to COVID-19. According to court documents, Justice Bernard Shapiro granted the request this week, saying it was in the best interest of the child because of the pandemic in Florida. How can you tell me because I'm divorced that I can't come home? Obviously, I have to shower, that I can't come home, but that I can't come home and hug my daughter, said Green, who called the decision discriminatory against divorced parents and has filed an appeal.
Yeah.
Take it away.
I hope she gets something. I think that she's doing exactly what she should be doing. Like, how dare the state say that she's unfit to take care of her daughter? No, I get it sounds like there's more going on than what you just told me.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
if the husband was involved, like the divorcee husband was involved, sounds like he was just trying to get back at her.
And that
But hey, what better way to? Yeah, what better way than to say, oh, I'm worried about my daughter's health. My wife is a doctor, like Ben Shapiro. My wife or my ex-wife is a doctor, and she's on the front line. She's exposed to it most likely. I don't want her coming home. I want my kid back. I want my kid, and I don't want her to have him.
Okay, my wife's a doctor. She's smoking hot.
Yep.
So, in the last bit of news that I have for the draconian overreach, Michigan has drawn some ire given the fact that we see scenes like this over in Michigan where they have used police tape and signs to tell customers they're not allowed to buy various home improvement objects like lumber, hardwood, paints, stains, or seeds for growing gardens.
Why not? Okay, if you're not allowed to buy the seeds, then why are they out? Why do they have them out on display?
Because they haven't had a chance to put them away. This is an executive order from Michigan that just came down on Sunday.
But why would that be? Why would they do that? Why would they say you can't buy your own seeds?
Because they're non-essential items.
So, I can go to Target and buy a basketball. You're going to tell me that's not essential?
Actually, I'm pretty sure that that's also non-essential because car seats are non-essential items as well and are cordoned off.
I think that's really stupid. I don't know what the problem is if somebody wants to grow seeds and why they're considered non-essential. If you're already in the store anyway.
Well, when I got in the argument with it, that was actually the point that I made. And I actually conceded a point so we could have the discussion. I said, okay, I understand if you want to close the Lowe's or something because then the people can't go to that one and there's not really groceries any there. But if you're in the Walmart Supercenter to get groceries, you're already there. What's to stop you from going over and getting a pack of seeds? And somebody actually gave me a good faith response. I was really surprised that a Whitmer defender gave me a good faith response to this. And her response was the fact that there was a woman in Michigan who went to a Walmart and left with a single flower. So stopping you from buying non-essential items stops you from going out and making drives just for funsies.
Okay, fair enough. I don't think people are going out to get seeds, though. I mean, there is a way to circumvent that silly rule. Like, you have to buy something essential if you want to buy something non-essential. I know that can be abused, but still. Maybe the lady just wanted to get out of her house because you won't let her leave otherwise.
Well, and Michigan is going really, really hard on this because they are facing up to another they're becoming another hotspot very quickly, but also Whitmer, and we'll talk a bit about this in 2020 Watch, is one of the people that's on the short list for the VP nod from Biden.
Oh, you don't say.
So I do think she's doing some of this to try and keep herself in the news, so she stays relevant and stays recognizable for people that want to vote for Biden, Biden Whitmer ticket.
Everything is calculated. As Stick says, it's all about optics.
It is. So we'll talk a bit about unemployment because we talked about AOC and her late stage capitalism argument here. But now we've got 16 million people who have claimed unemployment in the last 2 weeks. And this sets a record, an all-time record, for the most unemployment claims filed within a week. 2 weeks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not the most people that have been unemployed at one time. I actually did some research. I talked about it on Contemporary last week. I had a graph from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics that showed that there were more people that filed first-time unemployment claims between October of 2007 and October of 2008 when the recession kicked in full swing. There were many more people that did, but this was the most people that did it all at once.
Mm-hmm. Well, it makes sense because the government did literally push the button on stop working.
Yeah.
The stop button to the economy. So yeah, that makes sense. And my husband had to apply recently because he got furloughed. So it makes a lot of sense. Of course, it's all going to happen at once. What did they think was going to happen?
I don't know. They're going to destroy the economy and destroy Trump's chance of re-election.
I don't think so. I don't think even wrecking the economy in this manner, which is also a red flag to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, this whole tightening of slowing down the economy. And if Trump says, no, go out, I want to keep it open, that'll just make him look like he doesn't care about the health. So he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. But, right now, Trump is still in a very lucky and unique position that his running mate is just a piece of trash. And is not very likable. I don't think he's not even as likable as Hillary, and Hillary sucks. And he's not all there. The presumptive nominee being Biden. He might have a Hail Mary and have a really likable VP candidate where people would want to vote for them because they'll be the presumptive president after a couple of years if he wins. But I still think Trump is still the presumed winner so far.
What do you think about the fact that some of these businesses are not going to survive through all of this? And this has been another thing that's been going around Twitter. You're lucky you're not on the Twitterverse because it's bad. It's a dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm. I think it's tragic. There's businesses that are not going to reopen, jobs that are not going to come back. Businesses that were completely and willing to work, to be open and to function, just like any number of restaurants still doing takeout. Mm-hmm. I don't really see the difference, to be honest. I think you're just as much risk going out ordering takeout as you are going to the local video store or something.
Well, and one of the things too, that's really bothers me. One of the things that keeps going around Twitter is that the billionaires don't make any money. And that's why they're begging everybody to go back to work. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
You can have your argument about billionaires.
Yeah.
What about the guy that is barely operating over cost at this point and is working for free in his own kitchen at his own restaurant because that's the only way that he can keep making money and fill a shift? Mm-hmm. And he's putting people to work. What about that guy that's begging to have people come back to work because he wants to make money?
It's like they want to see the billionaires suffer, and that's okay making the little guys suffer. Billionaire, it doesn't matter. It's gonna take a lot more than that to hurt them. Like don't tramp on the little don't tramp on the little guy just to stick it to the big guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like a clothing shop owner. I know a woman that owns a little resale shop in Kenosha, a children's resale shop. That I guarantee you is closed right now, and that's their mortgage payment for them. Mm-hmm. They can't go to work. They can't resell clothes. That's their mortgage payment. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what her husband does now.
And they are told that they can't operate.
Yeah.
They're told they can't operate. They can't open their doors for business. That's really tragic.
Then they lose the house on top of it. So, I mean, it's not just billionaires that make the business. And I tried to
No,
point
it's
that out
not.
to somebody too. I said, and I used the same example. I said, what about the small business owner that's cooking in his own kitchen? And somebody snarkily replied back, she said billionaires.
I mean, if somebody wants to just keep the topic on billionaires, I would just say, so what?
Yeah.
So what? What about them? I don't care about what a billionaire is doing. I don't care about what most other people are doing. I care about me and my ability to make a living, to provide a livelihood for my family. I don't care about a billionaire, and I certainly don't care about sticking it to a billionaire. That's it. It's okay. Here's some just a quick thing here. Like when Trump first got into the White House and he proposed those tax breaks that went through right away.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked a friend of mine, like, so how's you got your paycheck today? And you enjoying the new tax breaks? He goes, well, yeah, but it's not so great knowing that the millionaires and stuff get the tax breaks too. What? Like, do you not care that you're the one that benefited as well? Like, you're mad that somebody else benefited too? I mean, why not? They earned it. That's their money.
Chris, my paycheck went up $50 a week when all that went in. I was thrilled
That's
about
not bad.
that.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. But it's people just seem to be more obsessed with knocking down somebody else than seeing themselves succeed.
Yeah, I mean, $200 a month, that's half a truck payment.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, let's check in with the horribly neglected live chat here. So let's see what they have to say on this here. I know I've had to restart it a few times, so I'm going to miss a few messages. But Midget B has got his F in the chat for the fact that our stream went down. So sorry, Midget. DLive is permanently down, unfortunately, too. I saw that on the monitor. I can't get that to come back up without stopping the stream manually. So we are going to have to stick with the Google Corporation for now, or Twitch if you want to go over there. That's always an option.
I'm on the Twitch.
I've got Epic Hans. Because I know who this is, and I actually almost doxed him there because I almost said his real name. I'm sorry. But so I was just on Facebook, but just think about how many people didn't get tested because there was no test. Numbers are way off, I bet. Yeah, and I bet you if we go out and test and we get a bunch more people showing up as positive, that death rate percentage is going to go way down in a hurry.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. You know, any numbers that you are given, you should be skeptical of. Like, where did the source come from? What was the sample size? There's so many different factors. Like, do they have pre-existing conditions? You know, there was this one guy that got it at Disneyland or something, or Disney World, and he was like 29 or 30 years old, and he died from it. But people didn't mention that he survived cancer 3 times, and he had digestive issues or something. Like, he had a lot of health issues already.
Oh yeah, and it
People
was
didn't tell you that.
the first death in Brown County, where Green Bay is in Wisconsin, was a guy that had been literally in and out of the hospital for 3 or 4 months before he ever tested positive for any of this. Ron Helton says the number of exposed has to be over 1 billion planet-wide. Then he also says Wilson the Wicked.
Yeah.
The 20-year-old woman who came back from Wuhan to Washington State infected 5 family members. She tested negative, then positive, then negative. Her chest x-rays were clear. That's problematic. Epican says, Ron, it seems to be different for everyone. That's why it's scary. Some show nothing. Some are on their deathbed. And then Ron Helton says, executive orders do not apply to the public. They only apply to people who work in the government. People should let these tyrants know they are overstepping. Tyrants. No consent.
Yeah, it seems people are ignorant of what the government can and can't do. You're letting the government take away so many rights right now. And they're so okay. Some people are even saying you're a fool if you are trying to fight this or if you are against this. Like, do you not understand that when you give them these rights, you can't get them back?
Yeah, they're very slow to give freedom back, but they're very fast to take it.
Yes.
All right, we will circle back for more live chat later on here, but, I just thought of this, too, while we were reading live chat and looking back over the show notes. I should have had the Hallelujahs cues for this. Something audio to go for this, because Bernie Sanders has dropped out of the race.
Wow!
Socialism has died this day. Democratic
Yes.
socialism.
Democratic. Yes, they put the Democratic in front of it.
Do you want to
Yep.
lead?
So, well, you want to feel good about it, but you're also like, but now we've also got Biden, and let's be honest, neither of them were going to win anyway. And I was actually kind of looking forward to seeing Bernie go up against Trump on the debate stage because that would have been fun to listen to. Because Biden doesn't even know he's there, so yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping for. But he's gone, and that's it. I don't think he's going to try for it again.
I don't think he can. I don't think he has the health capability to do it again. I don't think he's
Yeah.
going to be alive in 2024, to be completely honest.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he'll die in one of his 4 houses.
It's going to be
Or is
4
it
now.
3?
He's got 3
Oh,
now,
he's gonna.
but
Yes, he'll die in his what was it, like his lake cottage that every person in Vermont has.
summer camp.
Summer camp. I'm going to die. Eat my pudding. I'm Bernie. I have been a long proclaimed atheist, but now I'm Jewish. Apparently.
Well, apparently the no refunds thing is, for the most part, false, and people are getting their refunds back out of this. But that is not going to stop him from going out and selling another book at this point and buying another house on book money. I guarantee it. He's going
Well,
to.
I had gotten to a sort of argument with somebody asking, how is Bernie a millionaire when he only makes X amount of dollars a year? And they said, well, it was his book deal. That's why he's a millionaire. I don't know if I believe that. Like, who gave him over $1 million for the rights to his book?
A lot of people. His book was wildly popular, especially among his sycophant followers.
So what's his net worth then?
I'm not sure. Let me see if I can look.
What did he write about?
The end of
Yeah,
capitalism.
I've never even seen his book. Yeah, I've never seen his book.
I've seen it. I thought about reading it. Let's see.
And watch it just change your world.
Yeah. According to TheStreet.com lifestyle, Bernie Sanders is worth an estimated $2 million.
Oh, okay. That's not so bad. That's not a lot.
And that is from February 7th of this past year. So this is fairly recent, too.
Okay, that's not terribly high. But remember when he was saying we're going to target the millionaires and the billionaires, and now he just is billionaires now that he's a millionaire?
Whoa. I'll tell you about my houses. I've got a house in Vermont. I've got a house in D.C. I need those to work. And then, like every good Vermonter, I've got a summer camp.
Yeah, every Vermont. I wonder if Styx has his own summer camp.
He does not. He just spends his time in Amsterdam.
That's right. This is where his wife is, yeah. And pets his cats and tends to his garden. Well, see, there you go.
And I wonder when he's coming back. Because once he's back on state time, I do want to try and get him on this show at some point.
Oh, that'd be fun. He was on Jesse Lee Peterson's show.
Did you know that he's now Ramsey Paul's permanent co-host too?
Who?
Ramsey Paul. I can't think of what
that is.
He's another live streamer. He's got a long-running show. I can't think of the name of it, but he's like really nationalist. So of course everyone thinks that he's a Nazi on top of this.
Oh, of course. Oh, wait, did you hear about that black health official saying call your mom and your papa and your big mama and your abuela, and they called him racist for using that terminology?
I did see that. I forgot about that. That should have been in this. Did you catch any of this?